Hey, what's going on, guys? The part that I did in this activity was grand conversations and text-based evidence activity. First thing I'm going to show you is grand conversations. So if you take a look, this is the general page where they go to. The first part that they have to do is go to Storify. For this, they had to talk about three different elements when watching the movie. If you look over here, this is the general page. I got it differentiated with the three different groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Group 1, out of the three elements, has to choose one out of the three to do. Group 2 has to pick two out of three. And Group 3 has to do all three of them. This is what they're going to do for homework. They're probably going to have a few days to do it. Here's a Common Core standard. Analyze how visual and multimedia elements contribute to the meaning, tone, or beauty of the text. Those are the three elements: meaning, tone, or beauty of the text. Now, let's go over to Storify. Okay, so everyone's going to have a link to this in each group. And what they're going to do is I gave examples for each part. The first part is the meaning. Pretty much they're going to be talking about and explaining from the movie how each of these elements help enhance seeing visually in a movie versus reading the book and trying to imagine what that scenario was looking like or what it could be like. If you look in the first situation, it's the meaning of the text. I chose the part when Stanley got arrested. And I talked about how it was meaningful because you got to see his expression about how surprised he was to see shoes come out of nowhere. He thought they came out of the sky, but it really came off the truck. And then you saw him getting caught by the cops, and you saw how his facial features and his reaction changed over time. That's what I wanted to find out. And the second part is talking about the tone. I talked about the part where the warden was getting angry with one of the kids. One of the kids found something in one of his holes. It was like an old washer knob. Gave it to her, and she literally, you could tell by her tone, which is the tone of her voice, which you could tell she was getting really angry. And also the way that the words that she chose. Pretty much she was saying like, "Oh, do you think I look stupid?" And the kid named Armpit was getting very scared and timid because he had the expression on his face of pretty much white face or wash face, and he tried retreating back and trying to apologize and things like that. And that would be an example for tone. And for the last part, they have to do the beauty of the text. Beauty of the text talks about how when you're reading a book, it talks about how there's certain parts where the author makes very emotional impacts in his text, where you're supposed to feel it emotionally, and sometimes you're able to make a personal connection. I did it for mine as an example, tying with holes. I did the part where Zero explains to Stanley that he is unable to read, and I told him that I could relate to that sometimes when I learned a concept multiple times, because there was some points in elementary school, middle school, and high school, I learned a concept multiple times, and I still don't understand it, and I still had trouble with it. It's just showing, they have to just show like what, related to their personal experiences, because that's the whole point of beauty text, to feel sympathy, empathy, or try to relate it back in personal situations. Now if we go back, the second part that they have to work on is Edmodo. Now Edmodo is for the whole purpose of grand conversation, where the students lead the conversation as a group, and the teacher pretty much just gives them the guidelines, and they're all independent with each other, and they basically do it on their own. Now let's log in. Each group has their own login. I'm just going to use one of theirs. Okay. Okay, so they basically sign in, and what I did was I did the first blog on my own account, which is pretty much the rules and what they have to explain in the conversation. Pretty much they're going to be talking about the three elements that I just explained, and they're pretty much going to go back and forth posting stuff and basically do the same way that they would do in a grand conversation in the classroom, but through this blog site. And it pretty much works like Facebook. and other multimedia sites. So basically they just go back and forth, they type in whatever they want to do relating to the topic, and then they pretty much log off and give opportunities for other students to do it. Alright, let's show you the next thing. The next thing, if we go back, the next one that I did was, hold on, too far back. Okay, I did text-based evidence activity, and basically what the students have to do is that they work in groups. You could tell by over here. For the whole project, all of them are color coordinated, and all the students that are in group 1 stay in group 1 throughout all the activities. Group 2 and group 3 stay with their same individuals or the same activities. It never switches. If you take a look, I'll go over to group 1 for an example. Group 1 has to, pretty much all of the groups have to go onto Google Slides, and I created questions for them. And what they have to do is they have to create an answer and response to each question, and also they, besides answering the questions, a couple of the groups have to cite their pages and cite their evidence in order to support their claim or what they said. That's the whole point of this strategy. For the first group, they have to only do 2 to 3 sentences on Google Slide, whereas group 2 has to do 3 to 4 sentences and citing, and then 5 and 6 for group 3 with citing as well. And this is basically what it looks like. This is an example of one of the slides where this is how it starts off. I show them a quick little, their little directions, just in case if they forget, they don't have to keep flipping back and forth. And what they do is, this is the first question: why was Stanley Yonat sent to detention camp? And what they do is they pretty much just type in the text box the answer and make sure that they cover the aspects of the question if there's more than one part. And besides answering the questions, they also have to be creative with it. They, as a group, they should be making it more they should make it creative, and they should make it more colorful, and they should add things to it to make it their own, and make it so that it isn't just typical questions that they have to answer. They actually have to make it into their own PowerPoint. I started off for them, and they pretty much finish off with it. Okay, if we go back. Okay. And let's see. And also, another thing that I added was, if you look at the bottom, I have the Common Core standard for text-based. Determine a theme of a story, drama, or poem from details in the text, including how characters in a story or drama respond to challenges, or how to speak in a poem reflects upon a topic. Summarize the text. That pretty much just ties in with the strategy. Also, I have these 2 pictures where it'll help them. This first one is how they could start their sentences, especially when it comes to this kind of, when they're citing evidence. This is how they should start their sentences, or similar to it, and it shows that shows a higher level of thinking for them. And these are different examples. Over here, I thought this was good too, because it shows what they pretty much have to do for this whole thing. Pretty much the first one's restate the question by turning it into a statement. A is for answer all parts of the question. C is cite, give examples and evidence from the text. And the last one's explain your evidence supports your answer. Pretty much everything that they have to cover during this activity. And this is my part of my project, or part of our project. This is my section, and leave it up to whoever goes next. Thanks.